mean, yeah, it's technically not illegal, but you shouldn't do it. I mean,
why shouldn't you do it?
I mean, you get burns.
Dude, the brave little toaster.
Also,
I mean, you're putting it in the brave little toaster.
The brave little toaster. Oh, so actually, hey, this is Lance from 20-Sided Night, and this is Grock Talk number 4. To my left, we have...
Hey, I'm Evan.
I'm Krang Krabowski, also known as Craig.
Yeah. Proud of you.
And I'm Nate. Also, check out our Twitch stream, twitch.tv/20sided night, and our Twitter where we fight with flat earthers.
Yeah,
links are going to be in the description.
The links will be in the description.
Yeah, we finished this fight.
Now let's finish Grock Talk number 4.
You mean start it?
It's Grock Talk and Cock Talk.
Grock Talk,
It's about toasters, so it's gonna be real hot cock talk. Anyway, yeah, we're doing this. What's first on the agenda, boys?
Pathfinder
We're going
2.
to Hamilton Beach after this. They make toasters.
To get... Wow. We're really committing to this.
That's a brand.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a Walmart brand. Hamilton Beach.
Yeah, you get them cheap.
Is it a
They're not a
Walmart
sponsor,
brand?
though.
Lance, seriously, you can do better than Hamilton Beach.
Yeah,
But that's the cheap Walmart brand. That's what you want.
That's what I thought.
I'm gonna give me a Cuisinart.
Ooh, fancy. All right.
Listen, I just want a toaster I can bring home to my mom.
See, now what about a toaster oven? Could you bring a toaster oven home to your mom?
All right. Let's stop. Okay, we gotta get on track here. Pathfinder 2 playtest. What do you think of it so far?
I'm liking it in some ways. So when it comes to Pathfinder, with this new test, you have some things that you want to look at when you're doing your character creation when it comes to races and classes. When you're picking your race, you got to kind of pay attention to what kind of class you want to do, because there are certain bonuses that might be more accommodating to the type of class you're wanting to roll into. Like, if you're going to roll a orc, you probably want to go something strength-based or, like tanky, because your constitution modifier is going to be +2 to any half-orc type scenario you're going to be. Because you can only be a half-orc, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you can't be a full orc yet. They might add, this is still only the playtest.
Right.
Since I made a character too, but obviously I just went human, wizard, necromancer, but since you had some time to sort of check out more stuff, are the races, because I feel like the races in Starfinder are a bit more free, where it doesn't really matter what you're making. It's
Absolutely.
not a role-playing, it's a ROLE playing game.
Yeah. Whereas with the Pathfinder, I think they kind of wanted to make and I hope this is the intent, to make the races feel like certain races are better at certain things, which might be a little racist sounding, but at the same time I felt like it's more significant. It means, like, when you have this half-orc dwarf, although you're a short little you're
half-orc dwarf.
Yeah. Oh. You know what I'm saying?
But
you get that +2 constitution modifier from the orc, and you also have a high constitution modifier. I mean, you're tanky as
Yeah, double stack on top of there.
You got a little stout guy, So being a fighter in that situation would be just like
so dwarf
great.
isn't the class. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Dwarf is a master race this month. Okay, let's be honest.
Yeah,
it is dwarf month.
We all have face hair. Mine's gonna stamp down because I'm doing that all day. I have things colliding against my chin. He's combed his house nicely. You look nice and with your cute little haircut. We have this guy with his goatee, with his art school dad goatee going on. We're growing up for you, Gimli.
Rad Dad 65.
I love it, but I hate it. Speaking of dwarves, one thing that we were talking about, since it is Dwarf Month, it'll come out later this month, but the Duragar in Starfinder, there's not really a lot of legacy races in there. They go over like the big 6 or 7 in the back of the book. But since all the the humans and then every of the new ones like the Shireen's really took the lead on this one, I figured I would make a Duragar race. I'll put which one of you took a chance to see it?
I didn't.
None of you.
Yeah.
I worked so hard.
Was that thing you tweeted out?
Yeah. No.
Don't look at the Twitter. I'm just kidding. Do
But
look at the
do-
Twitter. Links are in the description.
Follow the Twitter, but maybe don't look at it.
Yeah, follow but never look.
Now, it's on Facebook, and I'm sure you all, but it's fine. I'll recommend taking a look. Basically, with the
I can't remember what platform it was on, but I remember looking at it briefly. I apologize.
Nah, don't worry about it. It's fine, here, sweetie. But no, you did see it on Facebook. But yeah, basically, with the Duergar, since they are a more magical race, I decided to give them, well, since they're more mystics. I'm sorry, the dwarves are more mystic in Starfinder, and I figured why not make, since they're basically the evil version of the dwarves, make them more technomancer. So I gave them intelligence instead of wisdom. Obviously going to bump up their con and strength scores, and I gave them a few other abilities that play towards their craftsmanship and things like that.
Are we doing a separate video on that?
We are, so that's why I'm not going to give all the details here.
So you should look forward to that on the next coming days or weeks.
We're done with the Lance video. You can't trust that guy.
I thought they were pretty good. I think they're getting.
Yeah.
I like them.
So. Okay, so we've all been playing Starfinder for a while now. We just recently had some Starfinder Starship Combat. What do you all think of Starship Combat that you missed?
I was helping
We needed
people
a
move.
gunner.
You were taking a dump. And what did you think of the...
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like I need a refresher because it's a lot more complicated than you think.
I have some things to say about it. I feel like it's a missed opportunity.
What do you mean?
I feel like you're so limited in ship combat, which is fine. Like it kind of has to be, but in that, basically you turn everyone into one character, like a Megazord, and you're like
cool on paper.
and then all of your stuff that you spend all this time developing comes to almost nothing.
Yeah.
And then you're constrained to all these roles that you're not really
It's like
prepared
assembling
for,
Voltron.
and yeah, but the team has never practiced at being Voltron, so then you're kind of disjointed. I'm sure there are scenarios where ship combat is more interesting. I found that it feels like when you're fighting against another ship, the other ship is always way more equipped than you. They don't have stations to deal with, and maybe that's not true, but you're dealing with 14 different things, and they're just shooting you like crazy.
Well, I figured that's also the difference between the kinds of ships that you're fighting. For example, I remember hers was a fighter ship, and yours was whatever that thing was. It was more of a fighter, and your guys' ship was a remodified shuttle.
Right.
And on top of that, it is the beginning stages of Voltron. So once you guys do more practice with Starship Combat, it might get easier as you guys do know your roles.
I also felt very early level it was very weighty, because you have one ability in most cases, or 3 abilities maybe.
Oh, right, yeah.
And so it was kind of hard to be well, I can do this that actually does nothing, or it would be very difficult to kind of get into the combat than it is with the rest of Starfinder combat, which I find fantastic. I actually really enjoy the rest of Starfinder combat.
Oh, well, thanks. I'm sorry for not being
So, what I want to add, so with that in mind, is there anything homebrew that we would suggest adding? Because I like homebrew.
Well,
it seems like there's a lot of people that hate it, some people that are really into it.
a good thing to add is something that we talked about in our gunner video a little bit, where basically if you have the mechanic with the drone, or you guys abscond with the robot somehow, to sort of give them
Give them a gunnery.exe or hey.
Yeah, give them a... Go ahead.
I think it was, I don't remember the fancy little acronym.
How dare you?
We made
I know it. I'm not going to tell you.
I'm a real New Jersey rascal. But basically it's hey, robot, just shoot it. You're a robot, just sort of plug in, or if you have the brain robot, the exocortex, just Cortana, just, I don't know, you sort of plug yourself into it, and then just 7 of 9 does when she shoots those little tendrils out or whatever. She hacks into things
Well, one thing
and does
that I
stuff,
figured would be
kind of like
good
that.
one thing I figured would be good for this was instead of just like giving your robot a drone tool, like how we discussed what to do in the gunner video, would be give it like each time you're able to level up your drone or give it a drone feat. You can give it a feat where it would be say proficient or able to add certain things into piloting or gunnery or what have you.
Or the AI, it integrates when you, like he was saying, like integrates into the console. So like when you're connected, you're more connected.
If
Gives you a bigger bonus or something.
Yeah, then how are you going to move the pedals on the ship?
Well, I mean, I assume they have Wi-Fi too.
Oh, excuse me, they have Wi-Fi.
Or Bluetooth.
Excuse me, they have
Bluetooth.
Or
outdated
telegraph,
technology.
or
Get out of here, Bluetooth.
But
telegraph
so,
wires.
But yeah, that would be one thing to do when you are able to take a feat for your drone, because drones have feats, or if the player is able to increase their exocortex somehow. Do something where the drone, I'm just going to use the drone because it's an example I know, but also this would move over to the exocortex as well. Just sort of give them a thing where they can act in Starship Combat on their own initiative. And that will probably solve the issue for like if a player is gone, which does happen, and since Starship Combat does need everybody, like, it does need everybody there. Not just you, but it does. It's just anything with 5 roles.
It's more funny than it
parts.
is.
Or sort of say if you do have a smaller group where you are running 3 players just because you're a shut-in, or who knows,
Yeah.
that could be good for that.
Yeah, it can be hugely penalizing if you don't have the full group.
Yeah.
Which I certainly understand.
One thing we did talk about in Gunnery video is maybe if you know beforehand, maybe get some hirelings like, hey, good old Gunner Joe, who's like, I don't know, maybe like some old guys like, yeah, I can't fight no more because my leg got blown up in Space Nom, but I can still turret, or I can still science officer real good, or
So a little bit away from the
something like that.
So that brings up something I like to talk about. What's if I do go back to DMing D&D, or even the more single planet based Starfinder game, which I have one of you guys. You're out. I have a dump truck who has the Hank. How do you guys feel about having more hirelings in the game, like people like that? Because I feel like it's something that's underused a lot.
Kind of like companions.
Yeah.
I like it.
You like it?
Yeah.
Well, and one thing that I like so I've listened to like quite a few like D&D podcasts.
You traitor.
I know. And what I've noticed is
How
that
dare you?
a lot of the time the DM will actually control a character, and not like just kind of like if the party is completely going off track, they try to wrangle them just a tiny bit, not control the group, but plant thoughts into the group using that character, which I've noticed actually runs pretty well. So so like in the scenario of like if the DM like in that campaign, if you were to control I almost said Craig, Hank.
No, I'm gonna control Craig.
You're gonna control Craig, and now Craig is now Hank, and
We'll get
almost nudge.
Yeah.
Not mitigate, not like push.
There's a
Right.
device in our current Starfinder campaign that's that way too, in the form of my AI.
Oh yeah.
My AI is your character,
Yeah.
so he's supposed to push some
Or carry.
different initiatives, maybe for me, just me as a personal character, or can use that as a device. So that definitely is something that is maybe underutilized. I think that's something that I think we all can agree on. That
Yeah.
Or
Hank is a great opportunity in
I
our
love
current
Hank.
game, because he's just this random guy that's never been in space before, and you can kind of use him to maybe even show what everyone should really feel like and play off some of the stuff that we're all kind of like, well, I'm f***ing lost. Well, yeah, of course, Hank's lost too. F*** it.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty good. I feel like that's a good thing for every DM to at least try to have in a game,
Or at
is
least
to
just
have.
generally have like hirelings. It's like, oh man, it seems really dangerous to go in there. Well, hirelings, this is where you really earn your paycheck, Jake. I haven't read about it like a lot in Starfinder First Edition, but I do remember, like in the original Dungeons and Dragons, the one of the gems getting pried out of that big old stone guy's eye. There is a whole table about like dealing with hirelings and things, like how much you've got to pay them, tables for like making them do stuff, because obviously if it's just like you hired just a bunch of like a bunch of tough guys to like be your hirelings or whatever you're paying them. If it's something where it's like, yeah, you're getting 2 gold a day each, but then it's like, okay, go mess up that big wizard who's like just throwing lightning bolts off the mountain. They're gonna be like, no, and you can be like, you can just be like, hey, listen, I'm your boss, or you can be like, all right, that's fair, but who wants some free scotch? And after giving them all, there's like I remember there's a thing for like, if you make them drunk, you know, they'll be braver or whatever. Like, hey, so now that you're good and drunk, that wizard said that you were you're a sissy, and he touched your sister's butt. What do you think of that? And they're like, no, I'm gonna beat up that dumb old wizard.
Drinking only makes me a coward. Anyway, you were saying?
I think it makes it far more interesting when it comes to like diplomacy, intimidation, things like that, because you know there might be characters that you run into that you start to hate immediately. Mm-hmm. So like those roles become more significant because if there's someone that you really like and you're like, I wish he was on my team. Yeah. Well, maybe like trying to position yourself in the game to kind of make that happen and get them on your team, one, makes your group more powerful, gets incentive to the group to maybe be more diplomatic in situations where combat, you know, is going to occur, or, you know, at the same time you can piss off some people and get more combat by using those roles and then forcing that those combats to happen.
Yeah, so new DMs or just DMs who are having a tough time wrangling your characters, definitely give that a shot. Whether it's in the way of an NPC who used to be a quest giver, or even like a sentient weapon. Like if you have that one character that likes to be a sort of power gamer or likes to just be like a troll to the game, give them a powerful weapon or something like that, or like a really good suit of armor. But then also make like a lawfully good suit of armor where if they get too far off the track, like if they're dicking over the party or stealing stuff,
it'll just freeze up.
Yeah, it won't freeze up, but it'll
up their shit.
It won't freeze up, but an idea with that, like maybe it'll lower the armor class. Its effects will sort of wane after a while. If you do have that player that you do need to coach,
touche.
You know, and you can find an example of that. Like I know in D&D, there's that demonic suit of armor. If you don't want your player to be an edgelord, well, it's more angelic based, so it's not going to totally hamstring them. But if they're going out and like, you know, everything they do is they're going to steal from the party member, or they're going to slow down the game. You know.
Yeah, or if they're like a warlock character. I know there's not really one in Starfinder, maybe if they're flavoring it one. Kind of like what Craig's doing, where it's like, oh, they have a AI that's kind of doing rascaliness.
That's a really good juxtaposition there.
Because like with warlocks, basically I think that's a good way to have the DM be able to make the members of the party do whatever. Because all of a sudden it's like, if they're being rascals, like Cthulhu wants you to not be such a rascal. Why? It's like he wants you to have a low profile so you can do stuff.
It can also be a really good way as a new player. It can be a way to coach a new player.
Yeah.
You know, without having to break the continuity of the game and the immersion of the game. You can use it as a device to be like, hey, you might want to do this.
I think good old Matt William over there wants to cut in with something.
Yeah,
a thought.
Oh, the only thing that I was gonna bring back up is when you were talking about like having like the sword, like a player with like a sword that'll do something. It just made me think of like something like Vampire Hunter D.
No, what that?
How he has
the hand.
Yeah, he's got like a parasite in his hand, and it like talks and.
That eats life energy.
Yeah, and it.
Oh, like that one guy with the hole in his hand from Inuyasha. No, that's Jesus. Never mind.
Jesus was that a crossover of something?
Yeah, it was more ambitious than Infinity War.
Jesus shows up and he's like, "Hey, I'm Jesus."
He's really powerful necromancer. So. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, he's a really powerful cleric. So.
Yeah. I mean, we're splitting hairs there.
Cleric, yeah. I mean, cleric can raise dead. I would say maybe life cleric.
Yeah.
I don't want to stat Jesus. That sounds sacrilegious.
Warlocks.
So you want to be.
Warlocks might have the familiar, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So kind of like familiars.
There are some things they're natural devices that can be that, and they span across multiple classes, multiple games types. So yeah, it's definitely a good tool to have.
Or also
in the arsenal.
Yeah.
Like clerics also, like instead of like their patron saying, "Hey, start doing this," the cleric could be like, you know, because they get their powers from God. You know,
or gods.
Whoever they worship is like, Zeus demands that you bring him a lady. Why? Shh, don't ask why.
Poor dude.
Do whatever it takes.
Bring Zeus something warm.
With a little bit of fights.
Maybe a toaster?
Zeus.
Zeus demands a toaster.
Oh no!
Alright, yeah, so we have a good way to wrangle, like, really edgy players back on track. We sort of talked about that. One thing I want to go over, one thing that was sort of on my mind, I know you've been checking out Mordique and some of foes. What do you like about it?
There's a lot of cool monsters and stuff in there. There's a lot of weird things. Like, so, for example, there's a monster that, I don't remember the name, but it's basically like if a tumor got mad, like it was brought to life and it was mad and just, seeping with blood and pus and
like Guado?
Wait,
Well,
is it
No, I don't know who.
is it attached to someone?
No, it's just a giant floating tumor with faces and has like chains on it, and it's just mad and it's like, it's like a demon. There's stuff like that. There's the thing that's it's inevitable, but it looks like a Modron, so of course I'll fight and die for it.
Yeah, Susan just found a new patron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. Also, there's a lot of cool things with like tieflings or whatever. You don't have to just be, I'm a generic tiefling. You can like add a little spice to it by saying, oh yeah, I'm a, my demon stuff is, I don't know, what's his name? Orcus or...
Orcus.
Yeah, Orcus.
Orcus.
Listen, sometimes there's...
Orcus is gonna whip your ass.
He doesn't have it in front of him.
Listen, Lance, you've never seen Free Willy 3, have you? Takes a really sharp turn.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he gets real powerful in a bad way. Free Willy starts a cult, and then he ascends to godhood, and he's like, I am Orcus.
And then he marries Airbud.
And Shrek marries him.
Shrek officiates.
Yeah, it's a real weird movie.
Wait, what were we
Donkey
talking?
goes like a whole different direction.
Oh, yeah, and finally...
Anyway, the book.
Yeah.
No, actually, we're talking about something way more important just now that you wanted to be brought up accidentally.
What, Airbud?
No, the Trump presidency's finally getting an Airbud movie.
Oh, yeah,
Finally getting
really?
a Shrek movie.
Oh!
Shrek 5. Yeah, like an actual...
If there's anything that marks a good presidency, it's a Shrek movie release.
Yeah, take that, Lincoln.
Yeah, you dead.
Yeah, you're dead on FDR's legs. Also, take that FDR.
And your legs.
That's
Soul
it.
Train.
Alright,
I don't know what to say to that one.
I figure, let's talk...
Although Teddy was the better Roosevelt.
Aw,
Just
dude.
saying.
Teddy Roosevelt he got shot and was like, don't take me to the hospital. I've
Hey,
got this
just so
speech
you
to
guys
do."
know, I got shot, but I'm gonna keep talking.
Yeah. Yeah, not like Kennedy.
Yeah. He got shot one time, but all of a sudden he can't finish his
Does
parade.
that mean 50 Cent is more powerful? Okay, we're moving on.
And also, wait, where's that place that you can buy Mordecai's
Oh yeah, of course.
Tomophones?
Mordique can do it. Of
Where
course,
is
the
that?
Astro Games on stage.
That's right.
Love you, Bob. Yeah, that's one can't play.
That's the only place you can buy Mordique and Stone Foes.
Yeah,
Only
anywhere
place.
Anywhere else, they'll.
You're getting a counterfeit that's made by a sad
Or you
baby.
just buy an inferior product. at
Yeah,
that
you're just
point.
buying it. It's
I'm-
full sand.
And if you're not in Utah, you can probably buy it on his website.
Yeah. Also, you
Touche.
just like drive here, just fight and die for Bob.
Yeah,
You can visit us, but we probably won't answer our phones.
Yeah, nobody knows where I live. Anyway, I figure I kind of want to talk about this. I've wanted to talk about it for a while since I got it. Good old bad old Fallout 76. Who's played it except for Ev and I?
I've seen videos
West
on it.
Virginia.
I've seen videos about it, so I think I know where you're going.
All right, do you tell us where we think we're going?
That it's total horse.
I
And
wouldn't say that, but
Total?
let them.
okay,
No, go on, please. You're not wrong.
all right. So the major complaints that I've seen is that one, it's kind of a copy paste of Fallout 4. That some of the glitches from Fallout 4 are also in 76.
Yeah.
Real Bethesda.
Another
They are
complaint.
built on the same
Listen,
engine.
Yeah,
it's
they
not
are
a
the same
glitch.
engine.
When Bethesda does it, it's a product.
It's a feature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a game-breaking product feature.
Yeah, no, it's game breaking. It's like.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another big thing I've heard is people are not liking that they took out the conversation system
Yeah, totally.
and added the tapes.
Just- yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like BioShock.
So essentially, all
And that
Fallout
you-
76 really is, it's So it's that feeling of when you beat Fallout and all the core quests, and then you just have a bunch of Radiant quests to deal with.
Yeah.
So it feels
That's
all like
essentially-
endgame.
That's exactly. It just feels all in game. There's also no real NPCs except for robots walking around making noise.
Yeah.
It's just audio logs, and then occasionally your most interesting NPC will be Mr. Handy.
That you can buy things from.
Yeah.
So-
Or Tetron.
Another thing about the audio logs, I've also heard that you can't go back and listen to them.
No, you
That
can.
they don't. Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Oh,
You just
okay,
take it
okay.
with you.
All right, never mind. Then I was wrong about
Being a
that.
liar.
Okay, because
So-
and that's like the only story building or world building you hear is from those audio
Yeah,
logs.
one
Yeah.
thing that I'm hoping that they're doing is like maybe for now, this is a really big stretch, but hear me out. One thing that I could probably say Fallout 76 for like the first 6 months or so, 4 months or so, they're doing things where everybody who's making like settlements and camps now, they're doing world building where they're making settlements, and then they start doing things like they're inching in NPC characters. And then like they start making routes and things like that. And like the game has a sort of rolling world to it that's happening as it progresses. That would not only save the game, but that would make it a lot more interesting instead of just like putting in a patch.
Also,
I will-
player mods. You gotta wait until player mods come out too.
Yeah, but I figure I'm not sure if they would allow them. Are there player
No,
mods that
they're
would
not
allow?
going to be allowed.
What
I mean,
did they- didn't
Well,
they
that
have
would just
them?
be full of big titty
Wait,
anime
on the-
girls.
hold on.
Let's
Hold
They
on.
have them for like
I got something to
Skyrim.
say.
I got something to
I got something to say.
All right.
All right.
So when it comes to Fallout, there are some things that have happened already that are in response to some of the things you guys have mentioned. One of the things is addressing the NPCs. Players have already recognized that the lack of NPCs is a big game breaker. So there are people that have taken it upon themselves to act as NPCs.
Really?
They literally have gone out to create their own like settlement, but turn it into a place where people want to come and visit, and they will give people quests to do, and like they'll create trade and
Oh,
Oh
things
my
like that.
god, I
so
love
I
that.
will say there is an opportunity for them to foster that and maybe like develop that. But yeah, I think the game definitely has some big struggles ahead of them. It is a great novelty game. It's probably one you're going to like for a couple hours, but it's not one that I feel like everyone is going to want to sink the amount of time they
It's not a
need
good
to
thing.
sink
So,
into it.
That's for sure.
one
Yeah.
question I have about it.
Yeah.
So, with it being online, do you just randomly get ganked by other players?
No,
No.
the PvP is. It's nice how they did it in this one, but there's other people playing. So basically, what happens to initiate PvP? You shoot like so. If everyone wants PvP with me, he would shoot me, right? And then it would send my player a duel request, and then I would shoot him, and then it would start, right? And there's only like a very negligible amount of damage for his shot on me. The issue with that is when I shoot him, it does my character's full damage when shooting him. So he's always going to lose when he starts PvP unless he's just a high-level Brobdingnagian. I don't really know what that word means. But basically, so when he shoots me, it does like maybe 5 points of damage. When I shoot him, it'll do like 40, so he's already at a really big disadvantage. And then, you know where the fight's coming from, and then you also know who's doing it.
Yeah,
West Virginia.
my thing is, it's still full of the Bethesda charm, as in bugs aplenty.
Yeah,
Like
that,
I think I may have
Bethesda
been.
charm.
Yeah, I think their motto over at Bethesda Studio is game testing. What are you f***ing stupid?
Moving enemies past you after you hit them is a
You're trying to play last night.
huge annoyance. Because, like, you basically have to be in a constant backpedal to keep an enemy in front of you if you're meleeing, which we were trying to make a character that was strictly melee, and we found that incredibly frustrating that you would just constantly lose the target because of the lag.
Yeah.
Your hit detection doesn't stop you right where they are at. It stops you behind them. And so you're constantly like spinning to have to like try and keep track of a melee target. Or you're going to have to be in constant backpedal, and then you're in a weird space where your hit detection is like 5 yards out from you.
It has all the hitboxing of Shaq Fu. It's pretty great.
It's true. It's true.
Okay, so I think we've insulted Fallout 76. Not enough, but enough for like maybe we could we don't have anything nice to say about it from as far as I know.
Yeah, it's a bag of 70.
Let's talk about a good game that came out recently. Good old Red Dead Redemption.
Yes.
Fantastic game.
Yeah.
Everything I've seen of it, all the play that I've had, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
The one drawback that I'm seeing is and this is true of pretty much all these games. Skyrim, Fallout, Grand Theft Auto. They all end up being shootouts at the end. By the end game is a little bit weak, just for the fact that it just feels like you're just getting into gunfight, and there's not as much dynamic questing going on. But at the same time, it's hard to get that from a game that's so long. Yeah. Everything kind of does feel hackneyed by the end, no matter what.
There's some games that do it right. I know you and I had a disagreement about this yesterday, but the Batman Arkham games, I liked all of them. I really did. I liked the story of all of them. Sure, you can talk about the bugs on the PC, but mentioning the bugs for the PC as your be-all, end-all for that conversation, it doesn't really address anything like the story that happened. If you're playing a single-player game, I typically like to think of the story first, and the story of all of them, it had a perfect arc of Batman, and the way it ended, it made me kind of sad. If you got the Nightfall ending, it made me kind of sad, but it's how I want a Batman game to end. The fact that the Joker showed up, how he did, was really well done in Arkham Knight. It was a really good game, but wow. So, leaving the bugs on the PC aside, and the graphics, because apparently graphics are a big thing. What did you have against the Arkham storyline, or against the Arkham?
Well, I haven't played them all. One, I've refused to play that one.
Okay.
Just out of PC Master Race ridiculousness.
Yeah, you're all about Master Race.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm the PC Master Race guy of the group. I apologize. Actually, I don't apologize. F*** you. But overall, I think there's some good things to take from it. Obviously, I've played the first and second. I get a little annoyed with open world games, so Arkham City is not as fun for me.
Alright.
Just because I feel like I would rather take a path through a game than to go through a bunch of quests that I don't really want to do.
The Joker quests were really I know it's like a 10-year-old game by now or something.
Yeah, you have a choice in those games to either follow the main storyline straight through, get the game done, or you have the option of like going and being the accomplishment master, going to all the side quests, which turns a 10-hour game into a 48-hour game or 72-hour game.
That's what killed it from the Riddler trophy thing. That was a great, yeah. But the reason why I bring it up was mainly because there's not a lot more news from it, but Rocksteady's new Superman game.
Yeah.
They're coming out. It's Superman, so obviously I'll fight and die for it.
Oh, Superman 64?
And I'll keep living a little bit longer to play it. But it is going, but I'm super excited about it.
I feel if you want a DC game that has a great comic storyline, though, if you haven't played Injustice 1 or 2, I think you'll be incredibly satisfied with the storytelling of that game. It is a fighting game. If you are not into fighting games like me, it can be a little hard to play.
Yeah.
But the story is fantastic, and that's one of the greatest things that game has going for it. The storytelling is good enough that they spawned a whole genre of comics. The Injustice now has, 4 or 5 seasons? And it's an incredibly fantastic comic line.
It is really weird to see a fighting game have a super good story to it.
It is.
Story good enough. It's like, we're actually going to print actual legit comic books.
And have it do well. Comics don't always do well.
Yeah. Especially not comic books based off of a movie or a video game, but somehow they did.
Yeah, this is that magical sweet spot, and if you haven't taken the opportunity to play that game, this is the only plug you'll ever get from me on it.
Yeah, so there you go. Also, one good thing about DC, it would be a bad taste for me to mention, why I figured DC isn't better standing than Marvel right now. You know why DC it's better standing than Marvel, right?
No, let's tell me.
They hold their bodies on the field. For now? Yeah. Stan Lee died, and I'm glad. He was a to me.
So, would you like to tell the
story I guess we're gonna
of Lance versus Stan Lee?
You know what?
I'll tell the story about Lance versus Stan Lee.
It was 2 different times, okay? 2 times that guy was like, one was at Comic-Con, the one was for the work thing. Both times he was a and he smelled like cat food. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
No, tell his sin to the internet.
I will tell the story. I will tell the Comic-Con story. All right. So, this was it the first year?
Yeah, it was the
Comic
first
Con?
You can't tell a story
First
and then ask
year.
questions. You have to just tell
Okay,
the story.
all right. It was the
First year Comic-Con.
first year of Salt Lake Comic Con. Lance was super fing hyped because Stan Lee was going to be there. Lance bought a VIP ticket.
Yeah, and
To
then
Comic-Con.
and I waited outside.
He waited
of the little
outside
thing
of-
for like 40 minutes
yeah.
to try to get to see. I walked out of the Shatner panel to talk to. I walked outside the Shatner panel to talk to to talk to Stan Lee. To be the first one there. All right, I'll go.
Yeah, he stood in line to be the first one to ask a question. Of course he was, because he's Lance. He was first, and he asked Stan Lee, who would... Well, no, you said there was one person in front of you that stole your question.
No, it was a guy behind. So what happened was there was a guy. I asked the question, and there was a guy behind. No, okay, yeah, there was a guy. I let somebody else in front of me because they were super jazzed too, and so I was like, all right, lady, you can go in front of me because Stanley's your hero. All this and that. My question, that's super important. So she asked a good question. She was like, hey, how does a young person get into comic writing? And he answered the question very, even to her, she was kind of, it was like, go to school and get lucky, kid. Was basically the answer, which, yes, but they're paying good money to see you here, you Yes, you should not honor the dead.
Panels are hard to go to and like have someone not give you the advice, because that's what a panel is for. Like, a panel is for you to kind of give some insight into an industry, or like that was the purpose of his visit. So I understand why that's frustrating.
Yeah, that was like, okay, but now so now that okay, so go on.
So let's get to Lance's question. So Lance,
it's a fine question, by the way.
which is a perfect So Lance's question was, who would win in a fight, Thor or the Hulk? And what Stan Lee says is, what was your name again, kid?
He called me a kid, by the way.
Lance. All right, Lance. You're a asshole. You're dumb as Those are comic book characters. They are not real. So, off, Lance.
He didn't curse as much. What he essentially, but that was the gist of what he said. He's like, "Hey, listen here, kid," and he called me kid. Listen here, kid. Those are made-up characters in Fantasyland. You gotta get out of it. Those aren't real people. Next question.
He didn't even give like it depends on who's writing the character at the time or what storyline we're in. No, it was you. It's make believe. Bye.
It's not like it's made him a lot of money or anything.
It's not like his entire career was this.
Yeah.
And maybe it didn't make him as much money as it could have. Probably because he was a little bit of a jerk.
And then if you watch like his Stan Lee things, like his Stan Lee Presents things, they were terrible when he tried to do things by himself.
That's true.
He worked well with
If you Google Stanley Presents,
The Flying Man,
and you will just find a slew of movies that you have never heard of, and they're all arguably bad. Or not even arguably bad. They are bad. I'm sorry.
they're worse than
And I love comic book movies, and I'm the first one to be like into a B-rated comic book movie. In fact, there's one out of like Russia, superhero movie, and it's like about these Russian like Cold War era type characters, and like they named it like Guardians of the World or something like that.
I love them.
It's fantastic in comparison.
Oh, what about Italian Spider-Man?
I'm just saying. I'm gonna give anyone a shot, but I can't even give a Stanley Presents movie a shot, and that's sad. And that's been one of my gripes for years and years.
He does well with working with others, but then he doesn't really give them credit. Like, basically, he wasn't the only person to come up with all of Marvel's comics, but when you think of Marvel, you think of Stan Lee. You didn't think of anybody else that helped him along.
Todd
the way.
McFarlane.
Todd McFarlane, did so much for Spawn, even changed the way how Batman was, and Bill Finger, all these great people who were in comic books who did so much, but Stan the Man Lee. Why? Because he's old and smells like cat food and is a to his intern.
No, tell the other story.
No, that one's a secret.
Yeah.
You gotta keep some hate secret.
Alright, so our conclusion is, sorry you're dead. Yeah, sure you contributed a lot to the comic book world, but kind of you at the same time.
Mine is mostly you should always honest the dead kids.
I'm sorry for his family's loss, and I hope this doesn't affect them. But at the same time, I feel maybe we'll be able to move forward.
Yeah, they're not real. But as soon as I stop seeing somebody, they're not real. Okay, everybody is a bunch of people walking on hooks, waiting for me to interact with them. Right?
He's not a war criminal or anything. Just we didn't like him as much in comics.
Yeah, I may be blowing this up a little bit. Yeah, he obviously wasn't the worst person.
Yeah.
Stalin was probably the worst.
Right. We certainly, along with all of his good accomplishments, agree with those good accomplishments, but overall our interactions haven't been great, and we have gripes.
Thank you for putting some level-headedness to it.
Yeah, there you go.
I just have rage. The path through my mind is slicking gamely with blood and hatred.
This man loves certain parts of Spider-Man, and there are characters.
It was great.
There are characters that Stan Lee created that Lance has been appreciative of.
Yeah.
So the guy's not a total monster, but he was kind of a monster.
But he was rude to me personally.
Twice.
And no one wrongs our dear old Lance.
He's a little rude
We
boy.
hate out of principle.
Yeah, see, you got
Yeah, so now I have to swear a blood oath later to Stanley and his
True.
line.
Yeah, you gotta,
Was it Makgara? Isn't that what it is? No, that's a duel.
you gotta have
Sorry.
Doom at all times.
There's a Klingon word for it. It's just like a blood bond that,
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
against a sworn enemy. I can't remember. Someone put it in the description because I would appreciate that. It'll get my nerdery up.
Yeah, I like this weird vibe now. We don't want to go after we just insulted them.
I mean, I can go in on my topic
Alright,
that you guys don't care about.
Don't shock us. Tell us one of the topics, and then we'll ruminate on it for a while. Yeah?
Okay, so the one that I wanted to go over. So, I'm a big fan of League of Legends, and a couple weeks ago, or about a week and a half ago, was the World Championship, which turned out to be insane because for the first time ever, no Korean team made it to the final or even the semifinals. All the Korean teams got knocked out. Every single year, the Koreans win and dominate. This year, it came down to actually Fnatic, a European team.
Ew.
And
which European country?
huh?
Which European country?
Just Europe.
Oh.
They're all based in Europe.
They're not Brexit.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
actually, yeah, it's
they're
not
separate.
British
Yeah,
anymore,
so
but
it's
okay, it's
separated
fine.
out into regions. So we've got Korean. So in Worlds, 3 teams from every region qualifies. 3 teams from Korea, 3 teams from like China, 3 teams from Europe, 3 teams from North America, and then also 3 wild card teams from like other regions like Turkey, Brazil, Australia.
Africa, if they had internet.
Yeah, if they happen to
Here's this.
qualify.
Sorry, Africa.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
Oh, South Africa has computers.
but
I'm sending
Hey, you know what? District 9 is a great movie. Just
Listen,
saying.
if I'm sending $2 a month to they better not be on some league, all right? They
Yeah.
better be planting crops.
yeah. But anyway, the final ended up being Fnatic from Europe and IG Invictus Gaming from China. And Invictus Gaming ended up taking it 3-0 in the final. But even in the semifinal, we had 2 European teams, G2 and Fnatic. North American team, which by Cloud9, but which by the way is the farthest a North American team's ever gone in semifinals, Final Four. And then also, obviously, Invictus Gaming, who won.
Invictus was the Chinese team, right?
Yes, they're the ones that won.
Do you think they won either because they did steal the victory, much like how there's still a lot of licensing rights from U.S. companies who deal with China, or did they win because they finally had a chance to see through smog? And it's sort of like how when Goku takes off his training clothes and is able to fight harder, they remove the smog for a second, and it's like seeing into the 8th dimension.
So the real reason they won is because their top laner, the Shy, played out of his mind.
Hey, don't curse. How dare you?
But,
Sorry.
alright.
How dare you?
No.
I don't know if I've melted your guys' brains yet, but I
No,
like League of Legends.
It's interesting.
Also, you guys can watch me play League of Legends on my stream. Twitch TV /on Hey on Rabbit.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, one,
Shameless
shameless
plug.
I know.
How How dare you not keep it on a 27 night? With all the Twitch.
Send me the login and I'll stream on
I
it.
did. I'll send it to you later.
Okay, you're not gonna say it on the video?
No.
No, I'm not, because I don't want any of these rapscallions to steal it and get us banned from from Minecraft
PUBG?
Survival.
Mm.
Oh, I bought PUBG a while ago.
Yeah.
I bought it because
also
of
there's
Evil Dylan.
some things
Not
we
your
can-
sweetie
Yeah.
high, but you know Evil Dylan?
Yeah.
I'll tell you. So I bought PUBG because I wanted to play it for a while. Well, I didn't at all, but some guy has been asking me to get it, right? And the second I get it, he's like, after taking a break from good old Xbox for a few months to get my head out of video games for a while. So I just have this useless game that's terrible. It's like Fortnite, but people are more smug about playing PUBG because it's not Fortnite, and then also it's a bunch of men screaming at you instead of kids. So you can't even say the same insults that you would say to a kid and make them sad. You gotta think
Like Santa Claus ain't real.
Yeah, like Santa Claus ain't real, or I'm not gonna say how
I think the difference is strictly a marketing difference.
Yeah, it's
Fortnite
more,
is marketed to all audiences.
From what
PUBG marketed it to a serious,
so more sophisticated, grown-up clientele.
Yeah, actually,
what they said was a more serious
Yeah.
style, and eventually, obviously, that worked to their detriment. I don't think there's really a difference in the actual way that they execute the game.
No.
It's
so much,
basically
no.
it's essentially the same thing. It's like
Coke and Coke.
it's like Coke and heroin. Oh, like Coke and Pepsi.
Oh, Lance.
There's a
There's a major difference between.
I
Coke
think
and heroin.
it's a great example
Heroin.
of when a company takes the prerogative of let's make a good product and market it really well versus let's make a product that I will enjoy. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Because I feel like one of the biggest problems with PUBG was the creator of PUBG said this is how it's going to be. It and didn't put a lot of effort into the network stability issues and the bullet and hit detection, and so it created a lot of
Also,
complaints.
Fallout route.
Fortnite didn't put that effort into it, and what they did was they said, okay, well, let's fix some of those hit detection mechanics, make it really fun and make it really enjoyable. And when they switched to a battle royale mode, it did really, really, really well.
Oh, no.
Because it felt much more polished, and they took the criticisms that the audience had. So if the hit detection wasn't working, they put all their resources to fix the hit detection.
I just realized something, guys.
What?
Fallout 76 is Fallout Battle Royale.
Oh, it's
Yeah, a little bit.
It's Fallout Battle Royale.
It's Fallout Night.
Oh my god.
I mean, where's the PvP area?
No, that's
Also,
not
you know,
loaded.
I was gonna say, also, you know, guns not loaded, you dumb.
Even I can't kill you all to myself.
Yeah. I mean, if it was loaded, there'd be enough, and I only load that with hollow points usually.
I mean,
So-
so the chance.
So we'd be super dead.
Yeah, fine. I won't kill you all to myself this time. Don't keep it loaded. But so what else you got on that list?
I got a couple more that we can go through.
Go for it.
Another one you guys
Make it-
might not
make it a
care
good
about.
No, I
All right, I mean I can do a different one.
A really good one.
All right.
tell me.
So
Real good
Your
we
top
might
one.
just go through it quick. Pokemon Let's Go just barely came out a couple days ago.
We're not going to talk Pokemon Detective. I thought that was your number
No,
one.
we'll do that next.
No,
We'll do that
no,
next.
you pick one Pokemon over the other. You don't get both.
Rubber.
All right, we'll go through Pokemon Let's Go really quick. Then we'll go into Detective Pikachu. Okay, so Pokemon Let's Go came out a couple days ago, as of the filming of this, whatever. There's some good things with it and some bad things. So first of all, one big thing they changed was the wild encounters and catching. They're trying to sell Pokemon Go with it so hard. The catching is like Pokemon Go. You throw it on the screen like Pokemon
Does
Go.
a touch flick?
Actually, you can buy a Pokeball that you can actually control the whole game with, which is really cool. That's one of the cool
I got a
parts. There's
really
a
obvious
joystick
question
on
in a
it. You've
second.
got buttons on it.
So
and
money
then you
grab.
throw
Got
it.
it.
Kinda, yeah.
System is
I got a super obvious
Switch.
question real quick here.
Yeah.
So is it like one of the Pokemon, like what is Pokemon Let's Go? Because I've never heard of this before in my life. Is it like the Pokemon Blue and Yellow?
Yes.
Mine?
So
But
it's
on
like
Switch.
yellow. Yeah, it's in Kanto with the original 150. It's pretty much Pokemon Yellow, following the Kanto route.
For those who don't
Yeah.
know, Kanto is the original Game
Yeah,
Boy.
Kanto's the original Game Boy, yellow, blue, and red.
Okay. Cool. I just didn't know what it was. Alright, so it's
yeah.
not like okay.
And it is for the Switch, of
Ooh,
course.
Does Switch have does Nintendo Switch have VR or is that
No.
only Big Wizard?
No, they don't have VR.
That was-
That would be really cool to play on VR, right?
yeah, it would be. But I guess Nintendo just hates them.
But I guess
They hate gimmicks. Nintendo
So-
hates gimmicky systems.
so. Then I'll just get straight to
I
my
hate hardware.
rating. I would say this is a good game if you already are into Pokemon Go. If you've played the originals, you'll probably love it. If this is your first time ever playing anything Pokemon, you're probably gonna all over it. You probably won't like it.
Why? Why would somebody not like it?
It reaches back to the same old battle system
Yeah.
as the original, so the battle.
Well,
is
you might like
dynamic.
it if you're playing it as your first. It's not as good as the others. Like, it's not gonna be hardcore competitive, but I'm still having fun
How
with it.
competitive does Pokemon get? Because
The core games,
does it really?
the core games are pretty competitive. Like the
there's
team
a whole
building.
meta and stuff like.
I like
my
when they have the
cousin-
Twitch streams with like the goldfish
Well,
playing.
yeah.
Like they have a camera on a
The
goldfish.
let's
and,
yes.
Like when the goldfish goes
The
to
Twitch
different quadrants
plays
of the bowl,
Pokemon.
it
Oh
switches like
yes, those are
like it
cool.
activates
Those are
different
fun.
buttons. So like it'll like do a movement or it'll push the A button or B button, and so like people watch this fish playing
Yes.
Pokemon all the time.
Well, so hang on. I think everyone's talking
Yeah.
about a meta to this.
Yeah, well, like with Pokemon, there's a whole different thing. Like you can just play the game, but then there's the whole like thing. Like my cousin Michael goes hard in the paint for it. Like he'll do things like there's a whole breeding system where it's like, yeah, you got to breed these Pokemon so they have these
so
certain
he goes,
traits.
so he gets real hard and watches them breed. I don't want to talk about this anymore. What else?
Well, no, because
What else on your list?
All right, moving on. Another Pokemon thing we'll cover really quick. We've got Detective Pikachu that we got a trailer for it.
Danny DeVito gonna be the voice.
No, it's Ryan Reynolds. So I
Guy
watched.
from Daredevil,
So
right?
the trailer came out while I was at work,
No, it's Deadpool.
and I watched it at my desk, and I had the biggest grin on my face while I was watching it, and my coworkers were just staring at me weird, cause like, I think it looks great.
Yeah.
I think it looks awesome.
I hate to say it, but it does actually look like it'll be successful.
When
I
first
probably
heard of
won't
it,
watch it,
uh,
but I can definitely see how it does look like it's really well made. So I think it'll do well.
when they
Box
first
office.
announced Detective Pikachu, I was out. I was completely out. I'm like, this is horse.
Yeah,
But then when I saw the trailer, I think I'm back in.
they sold
Well,
it.
because at first, like there's a whole rumor Dan DeVito was gonna do it, and I was like, yes, but I heard no. But I saw the trailers and I'm in. I think our mom's gonna lose her when she sees that movie. Also, Mr. Mime, the
Oh
best
my
Pokemon
God.
ever, is in the
Why do people
movie.
hate Mr. Mime?
Because
No, they don't. That's
no.
why he's in the movie.
bitter old
People hate
Beatles.
Jinx.
Why? She looks just like my mom.
That's why. All right. So,
I'm kidding. She was Jewish.
Well, that ends it. No, I'm just kidding.
No, go on.
let's see. Should we move on to something else now?
No, we're gonna talk about my Jewish mom.
Yeah.
No, just go. What else you got?
So one thing I wanted to bring up really quick that I think is cool. So there was an update to the Xbox One
Oh yeah.
that you can actually use a keyboard and mouse.
Oh.
Right now, there's only a couple games like Fortnite, basically. There's only a couple games that are compatible with it, so you can use your keyboard and mouse. And then they've actually announced too that pretty much every game going into the future is going to be compatible with your keyboard and mouse.
Since when? Like starting from like.
It was
future from what date?
updated. I don't know, maybe 2019. I didn't see the
Oh, okay,
specific
'cause I was
date.
wanting to follow.
Because the article that I was reading basically just said games going forward will all be compatible. But right now, as of right now, there's like only a couple. Like, I think their biggest was like, all these console guys are getting by all these PC guys on Fortnite.
Well, I figure that's
No.
one of the better things. That's one of the things that Xbox does a lot better than PlayStation.
Well, they are
is that
Microsoft.
They do integrate a lot better with like with their PC audience, things like that, because they do have a lot of games that are cross-platform with PC, such as like Gears and the Fortnites and all that, and the I think the Halos as well, like one of the Halo games. So they do a really good job of meshing, trying to bridge that gap.
Just get a PC.
No. Well, I actually have a PC, and I only use mine to catfish perverts in Massachusetts.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
You're doing the Lord's work,
Give
Lance.
him the old, give him the old Chris Hansen, you know.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. Listen, I do what I do for Doom.
Mountain Dew.
No, Lance is going to talk about his weird Doom cult that he's all about
I'm
now.
gonna stop you off for a second. I just get to talk to you all about the.
Wait, are we talking? Are we
Doom.
talking like God Emperor Doom?
No,
No.
Lance. No, not Dune. Lance
No,
has
no,
some
no,
weird-
no, no. Doom.
Okay, I'm not.
Like Doctor Doom.
No, yeah, okay, no. Listen, Evan, it's not a Doom cult, okay? It's more of a lifestyle.
Look, you have more fun as a follower, but you make more money as a leader.
The money and the okay, we're not gonna talk about
That's some Creed Bratton wisdom
we're
right
not
there.
gonna talk about my way of life
Your Doom
for
cult?
now. It's not a Doom cult, but go on, okay.
Do you have robes?
Yeah,
So it's a cult!
Oh my god.
I'm not a
Let's
Doom
see.
cult, guys.
So let's move on. I've got a couple other quick things. We've got kind of going back to we'll go to Overwatch. So there's a new Overwatch champion or hero
And they
revealed.
released her unknown in
Yeah.
November.
Yeah. So oh god. But her name is Ash. Her origins are connected to McCree. So she's the same. Her same style as like McCree. She's an outlaw cowboy, futuristic cowboy, whatever.
She's a handgun sniper.
Yeah.
Oh, she's the
She
hater.
seems
She's
kind of
the
mid range. But I just kind of watched the preview, and one thing that I saw that was kind of cool is that she has like a shotgun jump, which is weird.
I hate it.
Like, as a mechanic in the game, like, the jump is cool, but then also, like, you're shooting a shotgun into the ground and you're jumping
You know
from
what
it.
it's like I seen it's like the soldier's ability in Team Fortress 2 when he shoots the rocket in the ground. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she has an old Henry rifle sort of thing, and there's like also like
Yeah.
a big old robot guy that's with her.
Bob is his name.
Yeah. Oh, you know, by the way, speaking of Bob is the fabulous son of Hasker Games on state. Go there, or I'll crush you with the big rock.
And his Doom cult.
It's not a cult.
Yeah, no, so I haven't seen her, so talk more, because I'm going to get mad about how they're not portraying guns accurately in the media.
Yeah. Listen, gun lives matter.
I mean, I don't know. Go out and try to shotgun jump.
Here's what you need to know about every
No,
Overwatch
you
champion that
can't.
comes out. Here's what you need to know. They're going to be super overpowered for 3 months.
Yes.
And everyone's going to get super frustrated and and then they'll change her and they'll make someone else overpowered or just introduce a new
You
character.
know who wasn't overpowered?
That's what
starting
I've
out?
noticed. League of Legends tends to do that a little bit
Yeah,
too.
I'm
For the
saying.
first couple weeks when it launches, they're overpowered as They can't balance.
I think the
them.
biggest thing is
Like-
it's hard for players to learn how to counter, and
Yes,
and the
yes.
biggest thing is people have to learn how to counter, and it just becomes a flame war.
People love to
it gets a little
about it.
old, but
don't
it
like me.
sounds good. One of the
Hmm.
one of the strengths I feel like Overwatch as a game has always had is the introduction of new characters and
Yeah.
bringing those in, because there's a game called Team Fortress 2 that hasn't gotten a new character ever, and yet they
Lots
they
of new
think
hats.
they think they're so much better.
That's thinking more the PC Master Race snobbery, though.
Yeah.
The thing about Overwatch that I like, one, they do have new characters come out, and they're all free because they rely on the whole loot crate system that people buy into.
Yeah.
Also, with that, it was the mouse wheel wrecking ball guy who wasn't overpowered at all. He was always just kind of middle of the road. And he's kind of lower middle of the road. And just kind of stayed there. Like
He was
never
overpowered for the first 3 months.
Lies.
I'm not lying.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess I just suck with them. I guess the ones that was good was in Overwatch. The hot dog man, for sure.
The best character.
Yeah, we're talking Roadhog.
Roadhog?
Yeah, Roadhog. I don't even know the name. Roadhog. I only know the hot dog.
You just knows the hot dog.
The guy with the hook. Roadhog.
Yeah.
And
There's no reason for that. So basically, the reason why I call him Hot Dog and Man is because it was when Overwatch was pretty new. Lance and I were being rascals and playing it. We were being real goofy. There might have been a couple daddy sodas involved. But yeah, so I found that you can do the spray paint. And for some reason, the default spray paint was just that weird hot dog holding a leak. And for some reason, we started screaming "Hot Dog and Man," and Some good times.
Yeah.
Which Lance is still alive. We always keep a spot open.
So while Lance is gone,
We'll talk some match on Lance.
we'll. Why don't we?
So my least favorite thing about Lance,
He's too handsome.
Wait.
we all agree, way too handsome.
Spotlights room way too much. It's like my God, save some ladies for the rest of the world.
Annoying.
Have you ever seen him eat a pretzel? He eats the pretzel in the most erotic way I've ever seen.
True.
Yeah,
True.
and his generosity, my God,
Unbound.
makes Santa Claus look like an old Scrooge.
All right, so we're back from the break. I have a new drink. You know what it is.
Sorry, let me put my away.
Was it more toaster?
Yeah, I mean, the brave little toaster was taking it hard.
No, he was a brave little toaster.
Now I know why he's called the brave little toaster.
No. So talk more about it.
Yeah, so Blizzard stuff. More announced at BlizzCon. The Warcraft 3 remaster. It's kind of like when they relaunched StarCraft. They're doing the same with Warcraft 3, but I think this one they are actually putting more work into, and it's more of a reskin.
They're doing it on the StarCraft engine, right? StarCraft 2 engine?
I'm not totally sure, but I would assume
I
so.
would sincerely doubt
Yeah.
they're going to go with the older original engine.
Yeah.
Well,
I really doubt
like
that.
Frozen Throne works really, like the Frozen Throne engine is still working. It's still functional. It works on Battle.net.
Well,
Like,
still, like when they remastered Gears of War 1 with Gears of War Ultimate, they didn't go back to the Unreal 1 engine, even though it works fine to play. They still went with the newer one. So I would expect they'll either go with the current engine. I
Yeah.
don't think they'll make a new engine for this, unless.
No, I don't think so. I don't think they will either. But it'll be interesting because the StarCraft 2 engine is incredibly dynamic. It's incredibly fun. I've enjoyed like the cooperative modes in StarCraft 2 for a long time. If you haven't played them, if you've been away from StarCraft 2 since you beat the shit out of Minsk,
Spoilers.
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, for me
Whatever.
that came out in the
Or
90s.
if you got tired
wait.
of getting Zergling rushed and four-gated every game, like...
I'm still
Well,
working
no,
on
I'm saying like if you haven't played it since you played the storyline when they
Of,
first released the
Wars.
the third segment of StarCraft 2, you might have missed a few things, and one of those is the cooperative mode. They put a lot of effort into it. They've created a whole hero system where you pick a hero. That hero has like all different units, all different abilities. You know, the things that they have are not like the same as in the typical game. They're powered up or powered down or powered differently. You know, enemies that might not normally have cloak do or don't, and it's fun. It's an incredibly good game, and so what that applies to is just because that engine is so dynamic, it'll be interesting how they do Frozen Throne on it, because I can definitely see how it might be really fun.
Yeah.
So like there will be a lot of people that pick it up for the nostalgia, but I think the biggest thing is I hope that they keep a lot of the modding intact, because that was the funnest part. All of the modding, all of the extra basically game modes or expansions of the game that people created.
Yeah.
Like that's where the whole MOBA genre came from. Is
StarCraft 2
from, like,
Arcade.
3.
StarCraft 2 Arcade is still alive and well.
Oh, yeah.
Still
Oh, yeah,
tons of people using the engine to make their own game styles. And yeah, there's a ton of ways you can take the
So-
game. It'll be interesting to see
I think the
how they
Warcraft
take
3
that to the Warcraft 3
Yeah, I think it'll take
storyline
off.
and characters.
So that will make it worth it.
Yeah. The last thing at BlizzCon is the Diablo Immortal debacle.
You gotta have something to play
See,
with.
what I have to say is just the show us what you've got.
So, prior to this, those of us in the Diablo community were looking forward to a big announcement. They had made a thing and said, hey, we got some news for you for Diablo. You guys better get excited.
It would be good news.
What are you, the new Star Wars movie?
Like all
Oh
the...
my god.
We'll talk about Rosen.
That's a deep cut there.
So, going into it, they get everyone hyped up. They show them this trailer, not saying it's like for mobile only, and then their announcer is just like, "Hey, by the way, it's mobile." And then,
What, you don't?
and then someone asked the question. They're like, so you've been saying this is like mobile. Are we going to bring it to the PC at all? No. And then the whole crowd just boos, basically. And he's like, what, you guys don't have phones? So there's a whole thing. Hold on. It gets better. So the whole internet took that to mean, well, now we've been challenged to make memes. So there's like his face on the gladiator guy. Do you not have phones? And then, like, some guy made, like, a 12-minute video of, like, one of those meme things from, like, another country where the guy giggles really hard. And
I know it's not like the guy.
Yeah, dude, it's so long, but, like, he just destroys the whole announcement, and just, like, the guy's giggling at every ridiculous move that Blizzard made. I have to say, this was a terrible move for Blizzard to make.
So what's it going to be? Is it just like Diablo 3 on the phone, or what is it?
No, it's an independent game completely made by another provider. One of the biggest gripes with it, and this is a legitimate gripe, is that company has already made a game, and they've taken the footage from the Diablo game already, and they literally have just shown basically this ability is on this character reskinned in Diablo. So it's like the same game, same ability, just reskinned in Diablo.
All right, I take what I said back. Fuck you, Blizzard.
That's a big criticism, and if you're not going to take, like, I don't know the status of Blizzard, and I don't know what caused them to make the decision to hire a third-party contractor for making the mobile game. But your quality control and ensuring that your intellectual property is independent, like it always has been. Like, Overwatch is a very independent game, and it was created, regardless of what other people think, it was created long before Paladins. They created a very unique game. StarCraft is a very unique game. It although it's the same style as Command and Conquer, it created its own niche. Diablo, same thing, created its own niche. Wow. World of Warcraft has carved the way for all MMOs in the future.
And then they do this.
Even Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah,
I even like Heroes of the Storm.
Heroes of the Storm.
Good game, but
so
it wasn't super unique. But it did sort of branch off of something that kind of had something.
So late in the
game.
game.
Had a fun time
so late in the
that.
game to compete with League of Legends, but at the same time carve its own path, create a whole different lane for a MOBA, and create a competitive base, create competitive play. Here's the Storm is alive and well. It's doing fine. It's not the market of League of Legends yet, but I mean, but
it's fun.
It's got a good following.
As a League player,
following.
it's fun.
All right, so I got a question for you here. So I know, if they handled it better, so they handled with the typical corporate, corporate sheen that they are supposed to. What makes this game not okay? Where the Bethesda's Elder Scrolls mobile game was okay?
Well, I can't speak to that point. I have no idea about that.
Oh,
What I will say is, this game certainly has a place. Marketing it as
the next Diablo game.
Correct. Telling Diablo fans they have something to look forward to after how many years of Diablo 3 being the only game that they have.
Yeah.
And then,
Diablo 3 wasn't that good.
I will give them concession that they said, like, we have other teams working on another Diablo project trying to basically cool the crowd, but at the same time, you shouldn't do that because we saw what happened with Ghost. Blizzard is notorious for canceling games. Blizzard is notorious for not meeting goals.
I'm still a little upset about Ghost. Like,
right?
I was playing
by the way, we got Ghost. It was a storyline in StarCraft 2. It was like an add-on.
Oh, because the last StarCraft game I played was Brood Wars, but
we got the storyline of Ghost.
No.
Okay, I was just kind of being devil's advocate with the last question. I do know what makes Bethesda's Blades game okay, and this one's not. With this one, they've hyped this up for being its next Diablo game. They left it as that. Take it. Oh, you guys don't like it. Well, you guys are plebs, and I hate you. With Bethesda's game, even though I'm worried about it just by how Fallout 76 was kind of not that great, they announced 2 games at the same time. One, a mobile game that's a standalone game from everything else, but still, they basically gave us their version of the Diablo thing, their Diablo MOBA.
Yeah.
And then they came out, and then they also announced that a new Elder Scrolls game who knows where it's going to be is coming out. My suspicion is Hammerfall, not Hammerfall.
Hammerfell?
No, not Elsewhere, but the one where the Bretons come from.
I don't know.
That's Hammerfall.
Okay, I was thinking where the black guys come from, but Hammerfell. Redguard.
Yeah.
Redguards come from the Daggerfell.
Yeah, Daggerfall. Yeah.
But they did come out with like 2 separate games, and haven't let you know. They let you know what they're coming out later.
So, to finish the point of Diablo, I'm in agreement with you that the biggest thing that they could have done is, or the way to have made this announcement and not have the audience pissed was, first of all, from the get-go, don't tell them it's the next Diablo thing. You should have said, we're bringing a Diablo game to a new platform. We hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, don't say the appetizers are on the main course.
Yeah, no. Just tell the people right away, this is not going to be what you think it is. But we got something exciting, Diablo.
So what
in the
I'm
Diablo
already,
universe.
what I'm already
You just gave
thinking.
the marketing for you just said that they should do the same marketing that Star Wars Episode 8 should have been. How Luke was like, this isn't going to end how you think. You literally just said that they should have
Yeah, this isn't going to end the way you think it is. Yeah, that's fine.
So one thing that I'm thinking about with the Diablo mobile is, so I tried Diablo 3 on console. It was potato.
Was it really bad?
So like if it's
Some
that
people like
bad
it. I
on
don't- I'm not a big
console,
fan.
like taking away even more buttons to have on your phone, like I mean, come on.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask you a question with that. So with the phone though, this is sort of when I was a few years ago, but there was a Lord of the Rings game on the Game Boy Advance. Do you remember that one? How it sort of was basically a Diablo skin Lord of the Rings style game on the Game Boy Advance where it played just fine.
No.
But again, it also took away from Diablo 2 a lot. So I feel like with the mobile device, since you can have way more buttons and controls than you would have on the Xbox, just because of the things you can do with the screen, it might be better than say the Diablo on the console. So I wouldn't discount it as being a bad game.
Well, so the game play style
yeah.
is in the vein of current games that are out. There are lots of games that already use this. If you look up the company that developed it, you can go download any of their games and you'll see exactly how Diablo 3 will play.
Shit the bed on this one.
They totally the bed in regards in regards to how they developed it, and one of the things they said is that this gameplay style is the way that these games are played. Like this is how you do these games here. So I understand what they're doing, and they're just putting it in the Diablo universe, and I'm okay with that. I just feel like the marketing was bad. I probably won't play it. It's not really something I'm interested in doing, is playing that stupid kind of game on my phone. I use my phone for other things. I just think that they would have been far more successful. They wouldn't have gotten the hate if they had just marketed better. And then not got up in front of everyone and says, "Have you no phones?" Dude, that's such a move. You guys don't have phones?
I think it was just something where everyone started, because you showed me the video, and if I remember it correctly, because I only watched the one time, I think it was that after everyone was booing, so I think it was something where
it was
panicking. So
he just like,
I don't think he was prepared for that. So he was
don't fuck you.
Yeah, no.
He's like,
you thought the fuck on me, I have fuck on you.
Yeah, like Kai who panicked when he met Carlton for the first time, and he just punched him in the face for some reason. I think it was kind of like that, but it was like everyone's like, "Boo, boo, Diablo, boo!" And it's like, "What? Don't you guys have phones?"
I think it was
There's
funny.
no one a phone.
I was thinking, this guy is like an internet meme now, but like he gets up to the microphone because they always have a Q&A, and he's like, "Hey, is this like a 6-month early like April Fool's joke?" Because Blizzard is notorious for doing a big April Fool's joke. They like one of the years they did a Guitar Hero like WoW thing.
Oh yeah,
they're like, "Oh, there's a new Guitar Hero thing. You plug in your Guitar Hero controller, and you control the Elite Tauren Chieftain class by using your Guitar Hero controller."
Or there's something,
and it was like, "Oh, fun, you dumb."
Or like years ago, before they did the Pandarians for World of Warcraft, they said, "Yeah, the Pandarians are going to be a new race," and everyone's like, "Ooh, Blizzard, you rascals!" And then they're
so funny.
And then they're like, "Yeah, we're going to do a whole expansion of that," and you're like,
like got out of that
New
game.
marketing. I think that's probably
Which
gonna be
which is
the-
funny because that's actually still, in my opinion, one of the better expansions because it wrapped up really nicely.
But y'all won't play WoW Vanilla with me.
I'm playing WoW right now. I just don't want to play it regularly.
Now,
Also,
one
vanilla
thing-
vanilla is arguably bad.
One thing that I want to know about the new Diablo is, can I play it on my toaster?
You can put
No, but you
last
can
night-
f your toaster.
It's like if the toast that I used to have before I went down, or it had a hot dog slot. You know what I mean?
Oh, the hot dog slot.
Yeah.
All right,
Dude, I want a compartment on the side of the toaster that just puts that hot dog right in the
Sure,
bottom.
because you gotta look right at it. You gotta look
You
down.
gotta get that hot dog right in the bottom.
It's super convenient. Okay, well, what else? What else you got? Just like in real life, where I would.
I mean, do we have any final topics? Anything else that you guys want to go over?
Like how in just like how in regular races, you would cut the sides of the hot dog and then put.
No.
Okay. What other topics you got there, Brandon?
Oh, I have a general question. It's more of a philosophical
Okay.
nature. Just sort of, I don't know, sort of make us a little higher echelon, a little higher T.
Some highbrow questions.
Yeah, some highbrow questions.
Let's have that segment and
Yeah.
highbrow questions with.
So who? And I feel this question to Lance a little bit. We've talked about this too. Who would win in a fight, Blackula or Blade?